I started my own label, Discmeister. So it's the first release of my own label, which is very exciting because I always thought it would be really nice to have my own label, and this was the perfect time actually, of course, to do it, because I know I sell a certain amount of records, so the risk is a little bit less than otherwise. So yeah, I just jumped to it and started this label, and hopefully I can release other records as well from other people. But first I have to wait what this one does, of course. I mean, if it's a complete disaster, then it's the end of Discmeister. But yeah, if you would have asked me like 8 years ago what would happen in 8 years, then I would have never have guessed that this would happen. But on the other hand, it seems quite normal now. There are so many people getting fired at the bigger companies, but that's also because they are not really, because they're so big, they cannot move fast, and they cannot really react on what is happening, and they have to have permission. Or there might be working really good people at those majors, but they have to have permission for everything they do, it seems, and so then all the time they're running behind the facts. And if you have a small label, then you just, can react right away to whatever comes up your mind. So, but yeah, it has a lot of disadvantages as well, of course. I mean, you don't really have any power. You don't really have that much money to place ads and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Well, Matador also was an independent, although I think it's a very, of course, it's a very big independent and with a lot of power. So I don't really know where to draw the line between a big independent and a major. And Arco is a small independent. So, well, it's funny because Greg Glover, every now and then he reminds me that Arco is not Matador, that, we don't have that much money for things like this or things like that. And that's, I think it's really nice because I even have got less money for my own European thing than he has. I mean, he has got a roster, I only got my own release, so it's all in perspective, of course. Most people that use samples, they sample from their own record collection, so they always sample from stuff that they, at least once in their lifetime, thought was very good. And that's I think it's a big handicap, because constantly reminds you of something that you really like, and it's really hard to put your own thing into it, because it probably would frustrate me. Whether on the contrary, if you are sampling from something that is really awful, then you feel really good, you know. If I made something nice out of this terrible thing, so it's a complete opposite feeling. And in the shop, of course, in every record shop, there's so many terrible stuff you can buy and you cannot sell, definitely. So that's probably the biggest advantage of sampling from a collection that is not your own. And probably if I wouldn't have the record collection, if I wouldn't have the shop, then I would ask friends of which I think have lousy taste to borrow their records for sampling. That would be a good solution if I wouldn't have the record store. Yeah. I thought we would make sense of service. It's not the right way. I would want to go to see you. If you speak, go to find that love. Yeah, to put myself at the head of the fire. Now I'm sure. I just love music, and but not only to make music, but I love everything about it. I like to listen to it. I like to make it. I like to dance to it. So yeah, it's and it's very it's just like other kinds of communication. So and if you and it's nice to get better at it every year at this kind of communication, and it's like learning a language, you know. It's nice to have another tool. I'm always attracted to the kinds of music that one way or the other remind me of the music that I liked when I was in my teenagers. So most of the times it means that I really need to hear real instruments. So the very abstract sounds with no organic sounds in it, they just don't do it for me. So and that's the only that's also the same for most music journalists who have who are not who haven't grown up in the days that I've grown up. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what I want to say, but I'm just thinking about a certain group of music journalists in Amsterdam that are so narrow-minded, and just because they're of a certain age, and they don't really they they confuse personal taste with innovative new music, and so there are a lot of new trends in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, but a lot of new trends don't really get any attention because of this. So yeah, that's just sad, I think. That's right. Music is always very heavily related to drugs and drug politics, and the Dutch government gets so much aggression against their drug policy, and that's one thing that is very with this opening up, this is a very big issue for politics, that because also in the Netherlands they want to legalize hard drugs or make it available for people that are really addicted. They want to look at it more as a disease instead of something that is as an addiction. So yeah, if that would be European law, then probably that would affect the music industry, because it's always related. Well, on the first 3 records, I asked the drummer and the guitarist to play something on top of the finished song. And on this record, I only had some loops and some very rough edits of songs. And I asked if they could jam along with those things. The guitarist recorded his stuff at home at the digital 16-track. And the drummer, I went to a really good professional studio with the drummer, and we recorded all those jams, and I put those in the computer and tried to edit proper songs out of it. So their input was more important in structuring the songs than before. This is the first time that I made on a computer. Actually, I discovered Pro Tools. One of the last people that work with Pro Tools, and I think it's great. I'm completely addicted to Pro Tools now. So yeah, it really affected the way the songs were made also, because you can do so much more in editing and stuff. Marit, there's a drummer. Come here. Because normally I play with a guitarist and a drummer. And the guitarist, Geert de Groot, he became a father. And Robert, the drummer, he got a steady job. So he cannot really join me for a whole extensive long tour. So I asked Marit Loos. I know her from another Dutch band called Caesar. To join me on this tour and also on other tours that we will do for this record. So, and she also does some backing vocals.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
You think she'll be coming into the studio with you next time, maybe, or?
If she wants to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's funny because I always had backing vocals on the other records as well, of course. But I always recorded that they're my own voices, and I always was frustrated because Geert, the guitarist, he has an okay voice, but he's not really a singer, and also he does so many complicated things that 50% of the times he forgot that he had to do backing vocals.
Yeah, right.
And you are doing a very good job at it, actually. But you are used to doing backing vocals.
I'm used to doing it. Yeah, I do it in other band as well. So it's not that new for me. Yeah.
Face.